right? So this is a special program tackling menstruation, especially male involvement in menstruation, right? For most females, or for most people, talking about menstruation is an issue of shame. People feel embarrassed about it, right? And most of the times, or sometimes, people are not even comfortable talking about it with males, right? But what if we viewed the males as our friends, as our allies, right, instead of viewing them as enemies? So this is where our conversation is going to be centered on. So yes, enjoy the conversation. So first and foremost, we'll start from my right, introducing the name and going ahead with the roles that you're actually playing today.
All right, my name is Matthew Mpande, so I'm here as a brother. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Charles, and I'm gonna be here as a male friend.
My name is Keith, and I'm going to be as a classmate.
All right.
Thank you very much. My name is Adrian Gray, and I'm playing the role of a son.
My name is Victor. Father.
Yes, I'm Owen Charimira. I'm playing a role as a father.
All right, thank you so much. So those are their names and those are the roles that they're going to be playing. So yes, I'll have a conversation with each one of them. We're actually going to start with the classmates, right? So I have a question for you, right? How can male students help create a more supportive and stigma-free school environment to their female counterparts, right? We hear a lot of things concerning schools. We hear a lot of things about maybe guys mocking girls when they're in the menstruation circle, making a lot of girls feel uncomfortable. Male students make this into a safe space for female students as well, right? Their female counterparts. So what is your take on that?
I think we might, as boys, we should give each other respect. Like we should give them space to for them to feel free as they're taking their menstruation period. Yeah. So as boys, it's a normal thing as boys because it happens mostly in girls. So as if we have sisters, we also might have a chance to advise them and also like some things like this. So we might also give each other some space and respect. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. So what would you do in a situation whereby let's say a girl was going through her menstrual cycle, right, and accidentally her pants or like her dress, her uniform is tied, right? What would you advise? What would you do as an individual, but what would you also advise fellow classmates, right, being guys, right, when you see a random girl, a student, right, that her uniform is not okay or she has accidentally soiled her uniform? What should be the response to that? How should one react to that?
I would react positively and I would give her a lot of respect. But as to advise her, I'd advise her that it's a normal thing. It happens usually, and she should feel free in that thing, and she should not look down on herself. And I would advise like to my boys as friends that if something like this is happening, we should not laugh at each other and mocking her, saying her, like bullying her, teasing her. We should not look down on each other. We should advise each other and look after one another.
Yeah, thank you so much. So that is really a wise response that we have to use even coming to like a day-to-day engagement, right? Menstruation is not something that one should feel ashamed about, right? So if you see somebody has soiled themselves, don't be the propagator of shame. Don't be that one individual who goes and be like, and tells another friend that, oh, have you seen so and so? Look what has happened to them and things like that, right? There's even an approach. Let's say the person doesn't know, that you could tell them in a kind, in a caring manner, or if you feel like that's out of your place, you can tell somebody else, right, to speak on your behalf, like if somebody you know that is a friend to her, right, go and say that, right? But you don't have to be in a place where you laugh at her, you taunt her, or say a lot of things. Those are the things that for you could just be a game, but for the girl who is feeling that, she's going to start feeling different things, and she's going to start feeling shame, she's going to be withdrawn, and eventually it even leads to things like performance in class, dropouts at times, or you see cases whereby girls even, cases whereby a girl is going through her menstruation, right, and she says that, oh, okay, because that particular thing happened, I won't go to school anymore, right, I'll just choose to be home, because at the end of the day people laugh at me and things like that. And if it were me, I wouldn't feel confident to answer questions anymore, right? I would just think everybody is remembering that incident, right? It takes somebody who, it would have to take me being out of my comfort zone for me to even get to a place where I'm confident, back, like to get to that place where I'm like, okay, whatever happened, let that go and things like that. So yeah, if it's happened to any girl out there, just know that it's an incident, it's an event, right? If you have been shamed before, don't let, that thing be in a place where it defines you, right? So I'd love to go to a son, right? So coming to the component of growing up, did you ever find yourself having to support your mother on like menstrual related issues? Have you ever been in that spot?
Not really. Not
Okay.
really. Mm.
Okay, so could you explain your experience? I'm interested to find out what was your experience growing up.
Yeah.
What led to that gap? I would say not being in
Yeah.
a space where maybe you could maybe comfortably even talk about these
Talk
issues,
about
or
it,
this
mm.
particular thing is a taboo or anything like that.
Okay. Well, I would say that growing up, this conversation around periods was not really open between a mother and a son, because due to society norms,
Yeah.
where they think this conversation you can't really be talking about it to your son and sharing such stuff. So I feel like I never really got to grasp the depth of menstrual health. So I wasn't able to like understand and help accordingly. So maybe I might have helped even without knowing that I was doing that, because maybe my mother would have said, I'm not feeling well, I need to rest.
Oh, go buy me Panadol.
Go buy me Panadol or something like
Okay.
that. So my mother could have been like that. I just want to rest. I want to do this, and I would say, you know what, my mother is not feeling well, so let me just maybe do dishes or something.
Yeah.
And not knowingly that I am doing that, I'm helping her through her period.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I helped, but without really knowing what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I really wish I really understood what it was, because I would have been able to help even better. And I feel like boys nowadays should be raised to understand that these conversations are normal to
Yeah.
have, because this is something that is natural and it is out of control.
Yeah.
It happens to every other lady, and we should be able to like protect them and help them whenever they are in need.
Okay, so I'm interested. What would have been your response if your mom told you that, okay, you know what, I'm not feeling well today, I'm going through my menstruation? What would have your reaction been?
Well, assuming this is the first time her telling me about it, well, I would have asked what it means, what actually is happening, and assuming she did explain, I would have been able to grasp this and be able to handle everything perfectly later on, because I would understand now that, okay, so this happens almost every month. If
Yeah.
it's happening to her, then she'll even feel free later on to tell me I'm going through that, or maybe I would even notice, because now she has explained what is happening. So if I knew that my mother was going through that, I would do every other thing possible to help her out, because sometimes it's even in the little things.
Yeah.
It's maybe going to get her something, just listening to her explain about something. And well, going through periods, for some ladies, maybe it's said to have like mood swings, like
Yeah.
you might get mad about something, that being irritated and whatnot. So it's just, if I were told about that, then I would be able to be compassionate and take care of them, and maybe listen and be well with my mother in a better way.
All right, so to like the guys, to like the males that are listening out there, how do you think they can really build, even for the mothers, right? Because
Yeah.
this is it's a child parent relationship,
Of
right?
course,
How
yes.
can both ends, right, create an environment where it's safe for them to talk about these particular issues without them feeling ashamed, without them feeling like they're also being put in a vulnerable state, or where they'll be, for example, yes, for the mothers, and they'll feel like, okay, maybe this is me being a little vulnerable, but they don't feel shame, right, to
Yeah.
talk about it on that particular sense, right? Even for the sons, how can they make sure that, okay, their mom is comfortable enough to talk about these things in the home dynamic?
Okay. On that, I would say that first of all, the whole menstrual cycle, health, and whatnot is something not to be ashamed of, because it is natural. For mothers, you don't have control of this whole thing. So when it happens, it's a normal thing. And I would say that as kids are growing up, maybe because of how mothers are lately, they feel like maybe it is a very hard thing to talk about it with kids. I would say that even in schools, it can be something that can be taken up to teach these children that this is normal and this is what happens and how it goes. Because I remember as a kid, I only heard about this like, okay, there is periods and whatnot. It happens with, and I just knew that that happens when a girl is growing up.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Okay.
But not necessarily to know that, okay, I have to do this or I have to do that. So it would always be hidden, like, okay, this is only for girls. So I feel like
This is none of your
this
business.
is none of my business.
You don't have to know anything about this.
exactly. So it feels like it is something that needs to be taught as kids are growing up, so that as they are growing, they know that it is normal. And to kids, even if maybe right now you're already grown up and you know about menstrual health and everything, it's good to understand that it is normal, and to be there for your parents, your sisters and everything. Be able to take care of them and help them in every possible way, without making them feel like it's a shame to be in that kind of situation.
Yeah, all right. Interesting. I would love to hear the perspective of a brother, right? So, have you ever been in a place whereby you having to cater for, let's say, your sisters in the household? I don't know about you, but in households where I've grown up, most of the times you'd even have extended family, maybe growing up together with you, maybe cousins and things like that, right? Or maybe people that have just been brought up into the home, but they're more like your sisters, right? So have you ever had to be in a place where you helped out your sister in one way or the other, right? Where you had to support them on like period related issues?
Once again, my name is Matthew. Well, I was a very stubborn guy, so but yeah, I think sometimes we do things without knowing that we are helping them.
Yeah.
Like the way he said, like sometimes running errands for our sisters maybe could be part of helping them, because
Yeah.
they can't do that when they're doing menstrual. So for me, I think I've ever done that, but not knowingly, because also in the family, I think it's most common, like a mother talking to a sister about
Yeah.
menstruation,
Yeah.
but there's no direct conversation between the brother and the sister. So when it comes to support, you don't really know what to do when the sister is going through that. So we also don't know what the experience is.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like I said, we've been there supporting them, but without knowing. So I think to the brothers, I think, because there's a misconception that the menstruation period it's a women's topic only. Like
True.
it has to be secret. I don't. Maybe it's because maybe it will feel awkward to the brothers to know all the stuff, like how the sisters go through that, and also in terms of also cultural
Norms?
Yeah, because I think like I said, it's it the topic is kept secret for a long time.
Yeah.
And even the, I think also in education as well, I think there's little knowledge about about menstruation period. I think let me talk about myself because
Yeah.
I grew up without knowing that, and until I was at a certain age, just I thought, wow, okay, so there's menstruation period and stuff like that. So I think for the brothers, we are willing to help, but without education, like how we can support our sisters, we can't really know what to do. So I think we also need to break that cultural norms as brothers. I think we have a role to play.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it doesn't have to be like you only have to buy pads or giving money or something like that. You can let your sister rest, and then you can take care of the errands or something.
Or some
Yeah,
chores that
yeah,
she has to
yeah,
do.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So also, I think also sometimes it's not only about the brothers, also sisters are kept silent because of being ashamed.
Yeah.
Like they don't really want to talk about it because they feel like their brothers will be ashamed or something like that. And then there'll be an environment where it'll be a judgmental
Kind of environment.
yeah.
All right. So you being in a place where you're a brother, right, and you're in a place where you don't want your sister to be feeling ashamed or feeling judged, when she's going through her menstruation cycle, right? What would you actually do to break that silence, right? What would you actually do? You know that okay, I think my sister is not comfortable, but you know that okay, she's old enough, she started her periods and things like that, right? But like I think she's not comfortable with me. How can, as a male, right, especially being in a place where you're a brother and you know that okay, I think this is probably that time of the month for her, right? And she doesn't want to tell me, but how can I make sure that this is a safe space for her so that she can come tell me if she's going through anything and any support that she actually needs as well.
Okay, I think first of all, if she's your sister, you know how you can talk to her. But because sometimes you can start in a joking way, like my sister what's going on, something like that. Because also you need to understand how you can talk to her. To raise a dialect conversation about menstruation period, because sometimes also the way you can approach your sister can tell a little if she can be open enough, like to tell you or something like that. So for me, I don't think I'm a person who likes to hide things, so I would go straight and talk to my sister and just trying to create environment where we are connected, because sometimes also in like we say that the closest person, it might not be your sister, but it might be someone who's not your even a sibling or blood. So as a brother also you need to look at that, because it doesn't have to be any family that you despise your sister or something like that, but then create an environment where it's friendly. Yeah, because sometimes we got but you talk freely with friends, so let your sister be your friend as well. So
True.
I think that's how you can create a direct conversation about that.
Go by now, I'd still like to hear that practical part. Like, give me a practical example. Okay, your sister is going through her periods, right? Okay, have a conversation with me. If I was your sister, give me an example, maybe for the guys that are also listening, right, so that they could also get it, because right now we're telling them that okay, be comfortable with them, or start on a lighter conversation. What does that really look like? Let's role play here. You're my brother, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so talk to me.
All right. Muli bunch.
Did we not okay anyway, bro?
I almost want to go ball.
Basi tu madziwa zinto ziwiri zitatu zingondivutitsa.
Bwanji uvula njani?
Basi mkathupi kuphwanya wezi ndi mimbambo ang'ono.
Mimba? Na okay. Ndozwa yani. Davida kayo kapume. Zosuka mbali njani ndivanga ndineya.
Okay.
Koma ni mimba di kamena uzwaka wasika na jama they go through a lot. So you can just tell me.
So wona ngati neyo ndi mimba kuti ndikhala ndi mwana.
Za mimba. Yo undi mwamuna wewe.
Kodi mwana ngati makuza china nilo se?
Zitazoa kale.
Oh,
Uziwa? Osadandaula. Sufuna mabadi. Popo.
mumfuna mkaenda na
Yeah. Uzwa kale.
ndipira yomweyo basi ndekuti tipatseni ndalamayo mesa mwalonjeza.
What wallet ndiwatenga kai wallet. So I think kumacheza letu kucheza nyonja. I think she can be open enough to
talk about it, right? Yeah. So that's just an example, right, of how you can, like, one individual could actually start this particular conversations. One should not feel like, hey, okay, what do I actually have to say? Right? Everybody knows that. Okay, no, this is my sibling. This is the approach that I use. This is how we chill. This is how we talk, right? To every relationship, right? There's a classmate. You also know that. Okay, this is the approach that I can use with this particular person, depending on the relationship. We'll look into the father, right? We'll look at the husband, right? We've talked about the brother. We'll look at a friend too, right? Because these all have different roles and components that actually play in day-to-day lives. But the most important thing is even males have a role, right, in talking about menstruation, but also aiding girls. We don't have to feel like you're competing or it's something that you should be ashamed about. No, this is not the environment that we should actually create. All right, so for now we actually go for a break and then we will be right back to continue with our conversation. Well, it's your host Ronnie Mateo, and then I'll catch you right back shortly after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. So this is a special Here's Out program where, as you can hear or see, because we're actually live on both Timveni television and of course Timveni radio as well. So yes, I go by the name of Ronnie Mateo, and of course I am your host this particular afternoon. Yes, and of course I have these males and they're taking up different roles. We have husband, we have father, we have classmate, we have son, we have male friends, right? And even in society, right, talking about menstrual hygiene, talking about menstrual well-being, right, the males also have to take part in this, right? So we're talking about he for she, right? Creating a world that even the males take part in the menstruation conversations, right? So we're theming this, right, together for a period friendly world. So all right, going back to our conversations earlier on, we had a conversation with a son, we had a conversation with a classmate, and we also had a conversation with a brother, right? Now we're going to go ahead and also have a conversation with a father, right? Talking about what does it look like, right, for a child, and like a girl child and a father. So going to you, do you ever have any conversations with your daughters? Have you ever been in that place where you'd have a conversation with your daughter concerning menstruation?
All right. Once again, I'm Owen Charimera. In short, Bambua favor, I have a daughter.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So what else I'm trying to illustrate here, mainly it will be like me and my daughter. Yeah, so how
old is she? Maybe we can have that background. Okay, this is a child, that is a girl child who is of this particular age.
The child is old enough now. Is at the Chancellor College Zomba.
Oh, okay.
Is now around 18.
Yeah.
Yes. So as fathers, mostly fathers here in Malawi, when we want to talk about menstrual with our daughters, mostly it is difficult.
Yeah.
Because we take this as for girls. Girls can discuss with their mothers only.
Yeah.
That's the perspective. Komano chimetinga photocols and show kuti ubale pakati pa bambo wa munyumba muja amene ali bambo wake wantsikana ndi ntsikana kumafunika uzikhala friendly
zona zake.
Yes, for me mmene ujeni favor ankabadwa it was like my wife was working and I was not working by then. So the whole responsibility of the girl child ndimapanga ndine.
Okay.
Ndeno
Yeah.
ndinakhala ngati kuti mwana uja ndili naye pa ubale wabwino chifukwa chokuti nthawi zambiri amakhala ali ndine. Even when she's going to school, I could escort her.
Yeah.
I could go in town with her while her mother is at work. So panali ubale wabwino chifukwa chokuti nthawi zambiri amakhala ali ndine. Ndeno kumasukirana sikunali kovuta.
Okay.
Yeah, so as she was growing up, I knew that this will definitely happen. And we had a discussion with her mother. Kuti ase munthu yutu aoneka kuti akukula. Komano nkhani ngati zama menstrual zikuyenda bwanji. Ndeno at first anandiuza kuti aya apapa nali wang'ono sizinayambe kuchitika. Ndeti tinamba kukambirana kuti okay. Ndeti uyuyu chimene chingachitike muyambiretu kumamuuza. Like I was advising
your wife. Exactly.
Yes, kuti uyu mufunika muzimuuziratu kuti nthawi ina yake
azidziwiratu kuti zizabwera zizachitika
kuti izinthu zijasa zazione zachilendo
asazadabwe.
komanso chifukwa chakuti izinthuzo zimangochitika mu nthawi yoti yosayembekezera aziyembekeza kuti zikhoza muchitikiranso kwina kulikonse.
Yeah.
Kandi ku skulu kandi ku chechi kandi kuti zitha kuchitika. So sibwino kuti mwanayo akamve zinthu zimenezi kudzera kwa anthu ena.
Yeah.
Komanso funika kumuuza kuti ndi mmene zimakhalira. Asadzaone ngati zachilendo kuti kodi zimenezi ndi chani.
What's happening to me? Am I dying?
Yes,
you know?
You as a mother, you have to be open.
Exactly.
You have to be open to her, tell her that this happens, and even myself, it happens to me as well. Azidziwa kuti olo inuso period mumapanga. Ndeno sadzaona zachilendo kwenikweni. Ndeno nakhala nima conversation ngati amene aja up until she grew up and start her menstrual periods. Okay, ndeno ngati bambo ndimaona be kuti ubale umene unofunika chifukwa chokuti mwana uja amakhala open kwa iweyo. Olo akapeza vuto kuti mwina menstrual kumudwalitsa amakhoza kukhala omasuka kukuza kuti sindupeza bwino. Iweso umakhala ndi responsibility kuti munthu ngati ali chonchi ndiye kuti mwina ma responsibility awa tiye tipatse safe space yake kuti mwina mwake akhale omasuka asakhale ngati kuti pali chipinjo china chake chimene chamubwerera pa moyo wake.
Okay, interesting conversation. I would like to hear more. You've talked about how I like what you initiated kuti akazano ndithu asana yambe ndithu you are the one who started kuti mwanayo azafika ndithu nsinkhwino yako kuti akukula zimene zisamuchitikira ndekukamba no direct kwa inuyo ndi favor kodi nati mwana uja ndi favor dzina yake is she able to be in a place where akhoza kubwera kunazo kuti okay dad right now I'm going through my menstrual periods, right? I'm going through the time of the month, right? Is she able to come and say that? Come on, so maybe you could give us when like a first time scenario, what happened? Kuti that silence should be broken, right? Going also to male dads out there. I'll give an example of me and my father, right? I grew up mostly with my dad than my mom because my parents had separated at a certain space and time. I wasn't in a space where I was comfortable about that, but it was also my dad who broke that silence. And I'd started menstruation like I think a year or two, and that's when my dad knew. But he knew because not because I told him, but because my cousin was the one who told him that, oh, okay, well, how come they're going to buy groceries for me to go to school, right? And my cousin was like, how come you don't buy sanitary pads for her as well, right? But she's a girl, right? And then my dad was like, okay, she started already and things like that, right? But it was something that was new for him. And then of course he got mad at me that, okay, why didn't you tell me? But because I didn't feel comfortable to have that conversation with my dad back then. But he's the one who broke that silence and said that, okay, you can come talk to me about this particular issue. So how do you actually create that environment where also your girl child can feel kuti, okay, baba wanga ndikuza kubira, you know, kumalawi kuno kuti ndi kacha imene yozo kuti ndi adadi ru kwa adadi umabira kanena zinthu zokuti okay mwina ku school andibweza school fees, you know right what I'm talking about, or mwina to like something big has happened, but even for some people this could still be taboos, even to men listening right now, that they'll be like, what do you mean my daughter should be coming and tell me about periods? That's the responsibility of her mom, you know. So how do you actually get to that point where you can really talk and be open about these things?
Okay, it was this time around when I was escorting her to school. Yes. So that time there was no, my wife was not there. I was the one driving her to school. So then he was saying, I'm feeling headache. So I said, you are feeling headache, why? Maybe because today it is sunny. Yeah, so something just came in that why can't you just ask her if maybe she's in her period. So I just said, kodi wendeti kapena uli ma period. Ndanena kuti hayi ine period ndinapanga kale. Maona? Ndene ndinadzadziwa kuti munthu ndeti wamasuka apapa wandiuza chilungamo. Chifukwa mwina mwake akananena kuti ine panopo I'm in my monthly periods maybe. Koma anangonena kuti ayi koma lero I think it's sunny. Chifukwa chake mutu kutirani
Ndiwawa.
Chifukwa ine mutu suma ndiwawa ndikakhala kuti ndili ma periods koma mimba. Andiuza choncho kuti koma mimba. Ndinena kuti okay. So nthawi zonse ukakhala kuti ukumva china chake chopweteka nthawi iyi udzauza amayi ako umatani. Ndamenena kuti basi anangondiuza kuti ndizimwa kapanado kapalapeni uja ndikamwa mumasiya. Ndeti basi ndimakhala bwinobwino. Nde pamene panambira conversation yatsopano kuti ndi mwina ndicheze naye kwambiri nkhani ziti zimenezi. Ndeno pamene timati okay ndeti iweyo chimene chingamachitike nthawi iyi ikakwana uzionetsetsa kuti usamakhale pa environment yoti itokuika on an awkward position. Kaya mwina umafuna uyende nthawi imeneyoyo utokhala pa nyumba. Kaya pali ntchito zambirimbiri utopumako kaye ntchito zija uzimasuka kunena kuti naye panopo ndili chonchi.
I'm not feeling okay.
Ndeti ifeso tiziona kuti munthu ngati ali chonchi, let's give her space, she should rest. Yeah, ndeno pamene tinambano kumakambirana ndamenena kuti komabe ngati pangakhale china chake ndeti nditha kuwauza amayi. Ndeni namuuza kuti ayi olo ine uthondirani
Koza undiuza.
Iweyo chabwino tangoona kuti panopo mayi ako palibe pali ineyo. Ndeno iweyo ukadikire kuti vuto lako wauza amayi ako. Vuto ija litopeza kuti lakula chifukwa chokuti iweyo wapanga manyazi. You can as well tell me ndeti ineso ndikuuza kuti apapa tipange bwanji. Izizi sizochititsa manyazi. Mtsikana aliyense zimenezi
zimamuchitikira.
Ndipo anthu oyenera kumauza ndifeyo makolo anu. Chifukwa ifeyo ndi amene tingakupatseni thandizo loyenerera kusiyana mwina ndi munthu wina amene mungammasukire nkumuuza nkhani ngati zimenezi. Then nadzaona kuti pamene paja tinamasuka ndikamagula magroceries andifuna ndiguleko mapadi. Lero ndikutenga mapadi awa ayi awa ndayuzapo koma sindikuwasaku ndisangalatsa ndigula awa. Then naona kuti tsopano pamene paja ndapanga break ka silence kamene kanalipo kosamasukirana ngati bambo ndi mayi.
Alright, that's interesting. So what mwina malangizo amene mungapatse mazibambo amene ali kunjako kutengera nkhani imene ya period yokuti amakanika kumasukira mwana wa mkazi kapena kukamba zinthu ngati zizi, mungauze chani mwina mazibambo mwina amenenso ali ndi anakazi kapena sopena makhazi kuti si mwana wako weniweni komano pakhomo mukumulera ndithu komano iweyo ngati kholo you still have that responsibility right going to that girl child.
Okay, ine chimene ndinganene kwambiri nchokuti tikuyenera umakhala ndi nthawi yocheza nawo atsikana. Chifukwa nthawi zambiri azibambo amaoneka opeka kwambiri. Oti mwina atsikana bayekha nkovuta kuti akufikire kukakuuza nkhani ngati zimenezi. Komano iweyo ngati father uyenera kukhala ndi responsibility yoti mwana wina aliyense wa mtsikana uzimpanga cheki. Ndeno ukamacheza naye bwinobwino mtsikana uja mpamene amadzaona kuti iweyo si munthu woopsa ndiwe munthu wofikirika ndithu. Then choyambirira fathers should open up themselves.
Yeah.
osati adikirire kuti atsikanawo anawo apezewo kumakafunsa zinthu zimenezo sizingatheke kwa mtsikana. Fano nthawi zonse mmene anthu tinakulira mtsikana amangoona ngati zinthu zimenezi sizoyenera kuti amuuze munthu wamuna kandi mnyamata kandi bambo kandani zimakhala ngati zochititsa manyazi chifukwa chakuti koyambirirapo anthu amenewo munthu akamapanga mapiriyodi kamwana akamapanga mapiriyodi
mwina mtakusonthako
manenedwa zambirimbiri ameneyo apanga zakuti chani olo ku sukulu kumene ife mu nthawi yathu yakale kwapeza kuti mtsikana kuyamba piriyodi muja ku sukulu ndekuti aphunzitsa muthamangitsa mpititsa ku nyumba komanso ndeti asekedwa kwambiri ndi zimenezo zinakhazikika kuti atsikana amakhala osamasuka kwa azibambo awo. Komano chimene ndingalimbikitsa azibambo chakuti tamatengani gawo kwa atsikanawo chifukwa chakuti zinthu zimenezi it's normal zoti zimachitika sizochititsa manyazi. Olo azimayi athu ndani they have gone through that so kuli bwino mwina tizikhala open ndithu kuti anthu ajaso nawo azimasuka pamene palifunika thandizo la ifeyo tizitha kuathandiza moyenerera malangizo anga.
Alright, ndathokoza kwambiri chifukwa cha mwamba ndithu zinthu zofunikira kwambiri mwinanso tisunthenso kwa abambo mamenenso as we know timati husband you know mukuti ukakhala ndima ukakhala mbambo the father of the home umakhaza kuti so you know it's a woman you're staying close to a woman then you get to know this mumatha kumudziwa ndithu munjira ina yosiyana. Kodi inuyo mwina kutenenezo kuti banja inasintha bwanji perception yanu kapena kuona kwanu kukhudzana ndi nkhani zokhudzana ndi period zimene zinasintha bwanji mkaganizidwe kanu?
Okay, poyamba udali kuvuta kuti timadziwa kuti chimachitika nchani koma panopa mkazi akakhala ku period pali nthawi zina amakhala mudi tete mayesetsa kuti tikhale tichikondi ndi mkazi ndithu tisakhale kuti wasintha maganizo wakhala mtima mudi mwina amakwiya timathandiza kuti tikhale mchikondi kwambiri ndi mkazi.
Okay, mwina kupita kwa azibambo. This goes to, of course, husbands, and boyfriends and chanzani and things like that. Pale as muna inasadziwa zokuti nkazi akamadutsa munyengo ngati ya period angampange handle munjira yorani. This being somebody wokuti ali close kwa inuyo, ukha nkazi wanu and things like that. Ena mangoti okay, as long as inenda mgulia mabadi kwanga kwata. Mwina chisamalilo chanji mene so angapilike kwa nkazi wao. Especially mwina nkaja mawudi and mwina soka maro like mwina mchiro pakomo mwina mamuna ngamuthandize bwanji kupanga ensure kuti nayeso akufita zokuti ndi environment yokondedwa yoyenelera pakomo pano amandipanga so consider ineyo so ngati munthu wazimayi amene so ndikakhaza kuti I'm going through my periods nditelo
nthawi imene iwe muonetse chikondi kaya ndizophikazi kwazophika awenesi olo ndiyo
kuti pupa nkona kazanga leloli ndikuchitilani
phike ndini muonetse chikondi ndipo ti masiku ano ati mamuna akaphika ndiyo amene wadyetsedwa ujeni zina zake
atikontaine sichoncho magayi
uyenera kunthandiza mamuna mkazi amene kuti lero ndiphika ndine mlaweko zophika ine mamuna iye uja makhala osangalala pa period yake ikhozoyenda bwino pamene ukangozisiya kuti kaya ntchito yake imene yophika pa nyumba pano sisiyenda muonetsere chikondi adziwenso kuti uyu mamuna wanga
zofunikira kwambiri. I hope my guys mukutenga titu you're taking notes, jotting notes. I hope you're jotting notes, because these are very important things. The treatment, even kuti okay mumadziwa ndithu kuti okay nkazi wanga amakhala mu mamudi sinthayo kuti muzika yambana naye ali mamudi na yeso nanuso mamudi zigwilapo ngati but izinto ngati zimenezo also small things like that be able to know your woman's cycle, right? That okay, this particular time, this is the time, that time of her month, right? This is the time that she goes through this and let me just even be more comforting to her. What does she need? The umzimayi unayesa makalosiana palazima yena amafuna ndito amakonda uma madzorenta palazima yena madzorenta doesn't work for them, and things like that. And and they have different remedies for them, being able to provide that for them, but also just the care and support and things like that, right? But also how you talk to them and things during that particular time, how you treat them. Are you being there for them even emotionally? Edi nkhani yakakhanizidwe kodi mumankhala now and things like that. Just ngati mmene manena padani tamapezeka kulira kwambiri nakukwiya umafunika munthu wako uja kumudziwe bwinobwino kuti amapanga react bwanji. So and how can you be there for them in that emotional way, right? So kodi ndi njira imene mwinasoma munakhoza kupereka ndithu nkhani ya emotional support and practical support to their wives makamaka on period related issues. Mwina kuposera kuphika chithandizo chinaso chimene munthu angapereke ndi chani kwa azikazi awo mu nyumba, right? Anthu amene akukhala nawo, especially pakasipo, because you being a husband, right, you can also be able to teach other men also, apart from, let's say, just cooking, because cooking is not just the total support that they need as wives.
Tingwerekeza mkazi ali mamudi wamba period ndewa ali mamudi ukoza kumusangalatsa kuti mapadi ndagula ndi awo aone kuti mamuna wanga amandikonda kachikondi kamene koko ndiye kuti zonse zikhala bwino ndithu.
Okay, chabwino ndikuzilensoni mayeso amuna coming from a girl, right? Ndikuzeni mayeso, this is the particular time matsazo kuti okay mkazi wanga amakonda chakudya chicha, yes nthawi chako khala mudi kachokete kaja kavongeni ngati mutsazo kuti muli ndikuthekera. It doesn't have to be something expensive, but you know soto mkazi wanga amakonda chakudya chicha, you know, sometimes it's just as small as making her favorite cup of tea. And okay, akazanga ndawetserani, I hope this suits your day, you know, small little things like that. Right? Because these are the things that okay muda baza okay muntu yakufila mudi koma just make them feel loved, pamper them, you know. Those are the small little things that actually make a difference. Nditu zona coming from a husband afotokoza nditu kuti ngati bamboso bakomo njo yenelela kuti nawo sazifila koma lisila ndipite kwa male friends, right? Going to a male friend. I know that we've exhausted a lot of time, but maybe quickly before we actually round up our show, what does a supportive male friend to a lady look like when she is going through her menstrual cycle?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I'd say I was very fortunate growing up. I got introduced to menstrual health conversations.
Okay.
So I understand what it means to be a male friend to a girl. So first of all, to me, being a very supportive male friend is all about, first of all, making sure she's in a safe space. So it's all about the environment, creating an environment that she's able to talk to you about what she's passing through, and you don't have to like necessarily put her in a position that she has to feel awkward or anything like that, because even if you panic as well, it's gonna put you in a position that she's gonna feel worse. So I feel like as a male friend, you have to like be more proactive and try to be there for the person. So if they're going through that, find all the perfect ways to like be there for her. We're talking about like things like maybe if she prefers having dark chocolate or like warm water bottles, you do that for her so that she feels safe.
Okay, so let's say a female friend, right, came to you with an emergency, right? She tells you, oh my gosh, right, maybe, I don't know, you guys went somewhere or something like that, you're coming from school or whatever, right? And then she tells you that, oh, you know what, I've just started my periods, right? There's that emergency. How would you deal with that?
Okay, so first of all, in case, let's say we are like, maybe at Capra Mall, we're getting some food there, and then maybe let's say I see there's a stain on her dress. First of all, I'll try to make sure I let her know so that she's not caught off guard. And second of all, usually when I wear my clothes, I always layer up clothes. I have like a t-shirt and something on top of it. I'll try to make sure I have like maybe my my hoodie or my jacket. I'll give it to her and be around her while she's putting it around her waist so that she doesn't feel awkward in a public space. If we had any plans, like maybe we're going hiking, that means we definitely have to change those plans. We can say maybe let's just go watch movies or something like that, so that we're in a space that she can easily access restrooms, or maybe if she needs to go to a pharmacy as soon as possible, then we definitely have to like call a taxi or anything like that. But just making sure everything goes in a way that she feels safe and there's somebody that is looking after her.
All right, so I would have loved in closing to like take feedback from people, but unfortunately I have run out of time, right? But this has been an interesting conversation, right? Especially getting to hear from males, from guys, and the different roles that they actually play, right? But in conclusion, what I would actually love to say is menstrual talks are not just for females only, right? And menstrual contributions, right? The whole menstrual cycle, the whole journey, right? It's not about girls only. And I want to say something. Menstrual cycle is not just the 4 or 5 days a girl goes through her periods, right? There are different phases throughout that. So you should be able to also know that, be updated. Anagamba nditu nkani ya education. Kunipena makazote azmuna sako dziwa nditu kuti kodi zimayenda bwanji. So as a male, be educated. Komanso atsika anafe. Tentikaye open. Tentikaye open. Faya pena tutu mambitsa rock atsika anafe. Tiwapesa zota kutifusa ngati ana zota amafusa bambo. Amafusa mwanawa, anamfusa mwanawa. Cause anakafuna mwana ameneyo anakapangisa zoti pakhale khapa. Ana zote ayi basi nkanya thela bombo. Maybe you would have also felt uncomfortable, out of place. Kuti mwina muntu like she feels like drawing, I'm crossing her boundary, you know. So even coming from us females, let's be in a place whereby we're open to talk about this. So yes, we're talking about male involvement as well. All right, thank you so much. So it has been your host, Ronnie Mateo. Of course, this has been a special program. On this Here's Out program, we've had wonderful guests where we've talked about menstrual well-being as well. Together we can create a world and a society whereby males are also involved in menstrual hygiene and menstrual talks. All right, so catch you guys next time and have a lovely day. Thank you so much to my guests for actually being there with me and having this wonderful conversation today. Thank you.